everybody, welcome to Speak with Votomi. Thank you so much for joining me. If it's your first time here, you are absolutely welcome. Once again, this is a place and platform where we chat all things to do with life. So as I mentioned before, I'm on a bit of a break until school starts again next year. Hopefully I'll make it into honors. But nonetheless, I'm just enjoying some downtime, not doing a lot of reading as I would like. But I thought, you know what, it's good for me to go easy on myself because I've honestly been reading, throughout the whole year and just trying to get as much theory into my brain as possible so that I can do well for the exams. So I'm really enjoying this downtime in which I'm getting to watch certain things and do things that are not required, that don't require me to think too much. And this weekend, actually, what I loved is on Friday, How to Ruin Christmas. The Funeral came out. This is season 2, on the backdrop of the first one that came out. So speaking from the first one, I did enjoy it, but I think that the second one was a lot better. I just absolutely loved it, from production to the costumes to the makeup. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. The overall quality of the series was absolutely brilliant, which I loved, and just brought me to the fact that South African series and productions actually can compete and do compete on an international market. It was absolutely brilliant, from the use of language to the keeping of English, just absolutely great. So personally for me, if I was to rate it out of 10, I'd give it a 9 out of 10, simply because the one I think is for the language, but that's just because I'm a little bit pedantic. But yeah, I think it was very, very well executed and I absolutely loved it. So that brings me to my topic of the day today, and you probably already guessed it. 5 lessons that I learned from How to Ruin Christmas. Yes, I watch everything deeply. It's not just the show, it's not just whatever. I always feel like there's something that I can learn from this. And lesson number 1 was to speak up, to be honest, and to listen to others. How often do we create spaces where people can speak up and have their voices heard, especially as Black people, especially within the Black family setting? We go through stuff, people do things to us, we go through life and we don't speak about these things. And this is just from the fact that Beauty and her husband recently had, experienced a miscarriage, and nobody wants to talk about this. And even when they do talk about this, they don't know what to say or what needs to be done. And, the parents go through a crisis of just not having, enough financial means to do what they would love, just to live the way that they used to. And they don't speak up about this. It's just towards the end where things come out and you realize that, no man, this situation actually could have been avoided. But we just don't speak about stuff as Black families, whether it's trauma that we've been through, whether it's hardships that we've been through. We're just often silent about it. So I think if you aren't able to speak about those things because of the way that you grew up and all of that, I think it's very important then to decide on your own to say, you know what, I'm going to create an environment where people can speak up. I'm going to create an environment where certain things can be addressed, and so that the cycle ends with me, that things in my past don't become repeated simply because I didn't speak up, just because I didn't be honest, and because I didn't listen to other people or create a space in which they felt safe enough to tell me things and so forth. So absolutely love that lesson from that movie. From the series, definitely something that I'm going to take along with me. Lesson number 2, which is actually not too far-fetched from the first lesson, and after you've spoken up, created space in which people can listen to you, it is then important for you to ask and seek for help. Beauty and her husband towards the end of the movie, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched it, stop right here. But if you have, Beauty and her husband towards the end decide that, because of all that they've gone through and all the trauma that they've gone through, they're going to go out and seek for help. I think that was a beautiful way to end off that scene where, once again, Black people have the lowest demographics in terms of people that go to therapy, people that seek out help, and dealing with these things. Sometimes we deem it like a family matter, something that we need to conceal, and often dealing with things as a family doesn't really happen that way. So I absolutely love the fact that they both agreed that we need to go see someone, that we need to go get help, and I think it's even encouraging to the Black community itself to say, guys, it's okay to seek out help, whether you decide to go see a religious leader, whether you decide to go see professional help, whatever the case may be, but you don't have to drown alone and do it all on your own. So absolutely beautiful lesson that I learned from that series as well. And number 3, live within your means. You know, it's one of those things that I believe are easier said than done, but it's something that is very important because the Twallas love lavish lifestyle, you know, love showing off to people, love hosting people. Even in the beginning of the movie, Twala's like, you know, we are the Twallas, you know, we host people. And just once again, a reminder to say that sometimes you're going to find yourself in a situation where you aren't going to be able to do things the way that you used to, or because you find yourself not being financially affording as you used to be. So it's very important for you to live within your means. And I think for the first time also I learned what code 51 means. You know, when you swipe your card and it declines, if it's a code 51, it's a problem, even to a point where they tell you, the issue is with you and not us. Lesson number 4. I absolutely love this one because sometimes we find ourselves in a situation where we don't love the treatment that we are getting from certain individuals. However, we go and repeat that very same behavior that we hate done to us and to other people. Making lesson number 4, treat others the way that you want to be treated. And Twala goes on to treat one of her daughters-in-law in a very horrible and harsh way. Her in-laws actually didn't treat her that great as well. And just a reminder to all of us that we need to treat people the way that we want to be treated. And if we are not being treated that way, we need to do better towards other people. We need to break that cycle once again. We need to treat people with kindness. I cannot say this enough, but obviously we need to be kind. And I think, you know, this movie, well, the series once again, I do believe is not just, you know, having these scenes come about and they mean absolutely nothing, but I definitely believe that these scenes are created for us, well, to make an impact and for them to teach and showcase certain perspectives that would hopefully change the dynamics of our lives. That's at least what I believe. Some might just feel that it's just for purely entertainment, but I refuse to believe that because these are just some of the lessons I was able to learn from that. And lesson number 5, which, wow, this was a very, very eye-opening lesson, and that was to choose the best version of yourself. To choose the best version of yourself. And how often do we, you know, choose a version of ourselves that we know will be pleasing unto others, especially when we don't have a past that is great or ideal, and we finally find ourselves in a situation where we know we'd be making choices that seem good on paper. We know that we'd be making choices that please whether our parents, that please the person, you know, that is on the receiving end of them, and that look good, man. Like if someone saw you make this decision, they would believe that you made the right one. But often it's not the choice and decision that makes us happy, and it's not the best version of ourselves or the version of ourselves that is true. So this is summarized in a quote. I hope I'm quoting it correctly. If I'm not, then I'll be paraphrasing. But in the film, one of the lines that really hit me was the fact that we shouldn't accept a version of ourselves that we are not truly happy with, because otherwise we'll be surrendering to regret. Don't accept a version of yourself that you're not completely happy with, because otherwise you are going to be surrendering to regret. And this is the line that basically led Dumi to Odumizer, but led Dumi to go and make a decision that she felt was best for herself, regardless of who she would be disappointing, because she has, you know, held her tongue for over a year and just placing herself in a situation that she thought would make everybody else happy, but wasn't making her truly happy. And I think it's the onus is on you to decide that you're not going to be surrendering to regret. So those are the 5 lessons that I learned from How to Ruin Christmas, the funeral. Absolutely loved it. If you haven't checked it out, definitely do. I think you will enjoy it. A little bit of a PG here and there, but I think it is much better than the first one that had a lot worse scenes. But a lot, not worse, but more explicit scenes. But this one I think was a lot better in terms of that. And the language also I didn't feel was as hectic as it could have been, but I absolutely enjoyed the series, and I'm hoping that they renewed for a season 3, although I'm not so sure what they're going to be doing. But to be honest, I was skeptical because I was like, a funeral is kind of a very serious thing, so I was very skeptical that the comedy would be overdone and it would just seem as though they're trying too hard. But nonetheless, I don't think it was more of a comedy. Yes, it was lighthearted, but I just felt like it was just an overall really good production. And I'm very happy, and I don't feel like I wasted my time. And that's it for me for today. Wishing you an incredible weekend and day ahead. Until the next video, have yourself an incredible day. Mwah.